Hmm. There is no gap, no separation between you and the divine. Now, the goal is to be able to see through the facade, to see through the illusion that the mind creates between us and the divine. There's this wall that feels so real, but nevertheless, it is but smoke and mirrors. And that wall creates this feeling of separation between what I know to be true, what I know I should do, and what I know I am capable of. There's that, and then there's how I actually show up. And many of us walk around, we're kind of in this tug of war, having a difficult time showing up as our highest potential. So, if we are able to see through that mirage between us and the divine, then we can begin to show up with immense power. We begin to show up as a channel of the divine, the physical manifestation and representation of the divine. We become the embodiment of the divine. And that does not mean that we become spiritual, hippie, lazy people who are just all about light and love 24/7. And we're constantly uh, speaking about we're constantly ignorant of our present circumstance and just like focusing on a brighter future. It's quite the opposite. When we become channels of the divine, we become immensely power in the present moment. We become immensely powerful in the present moment. We become very bold and courageous action takers because fear no longer gets in the way. Circumstance, limitations no longer exist when we show up as a channel of the divine. There are practical ways to facilitate the channeling of the divine. There are practical ways to accelerate this experience of noticing divine guidance and acting accordingly. First and foremost, we must point out that all of you listening or watching, you are already deeply connected with the divine because you are inherently the divine. And again, the only thing that gets in the way are thoughts generated by the mind that create this false impression that there is a wall between you and the divine. So, practically speaking, what we must be able to do is discern between what is being generated from our mind, our ego, our environment, our nervous system, our programming, our subconscious mind. What is being generated from that versus what is being channeled from the divine. And it's quite easy to be able to make that discernment. And we can use the emotional guidance system to make that discernment. So, this is exactly how you practically discern between, are these thoughts generated from my mind, or are these thoughts generated from the divine? And the way you do this is you tune into the feeling state that these thoughts generate. So, a mind generated thought makes you feel restricted, makes you feel like there are limits to what you can do and who you can be. It feels it's like this restricted sensation you feel it in your body. Guidance that comes from the divine feels the complete opposite. It feels like limitless empowerment. Oh my goodness. I can be and do anything I put my mind to, anything I work towards. It's a practical way to discern thoughts coming from the mind and thoughts coming from the divine. And so it's one thing to make that discernment. Okay, these are mind generated thoughts and these are divine generated. This is guidance from the divine. It's one thing to make that discernment. It's an entirely different thing to embody that guidance, to allow it to influence your behavior so that you are the walking channel of the divine. So you are the physical representation of the divine. Those are two very different things. So let us touch upon how to be the physical embodiment of the divine. I think it's important to point out that it's very helpful to start small. Notice what the divine has to say and take one small step in that right direction, in that direction. You don't have to completely change your life, change your name, change your hair, get tattoos on, removed. You don't have to do extreme things. Just take one small step in the right direction, and the divine will notice that and it will reward you accordingly. And then you can begin to build some courage and some momentum, and the divine recognizes your faith in it. It recognizes your strength and your courage. And so it begins to give you greater and greater visions and guidances. And the compound effect will take place where you take one small step in the right direction day after day, moment after moment. And all of a sudden, you look back and your entire life is in flow. And that's ultimately what we all want, this experience of our life being in flow, as opposed to constantly fighting, trying to make things happen. Now, when your life is in flow, you are still taking action. You're still using this body to build, to create, to move, but it feels completely different compared to using this body to kind of fight against guidance. So, to wrap up this video, becoming a channel of the divine has two steps. Number one, discern between thoughts generated from the mind and guidance generated from the divine. And number two, embody that guidance. Do as it says. Live with courage, live with faith. And the more people who take on this opportunity of a lifetime, of being a channel of the divine, of being the physical representation of the divine, the more people we have doing this, the more beautiful our world becomes. And that is it today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is something that you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, comment, and share this with a friend.